Okay, God, John, go ahead.
Heavenly Father, we call upon thy name this morning, afternoon, evening, to be with us as we gather in this meeting today, O Lord. We want your presence to be here, O Lord. Whatever deliberation we take, O Lord, you be in the midst of it and direct us. Lord, whatever we plan for our school, O Lord, give us the strength that will move forward with it. These and many more we ask in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Now we'll start with our introductions. This is a self-introduction. So since there are not a lot of people here, we'll be a little flexible. Maybe there are a little few things you like to say, but these are going to be self-introductions, your name, your admission number, or whatever role you had played in Centennial. So the floor is open for the self-introductions. Let me start with myself so that way I set the tone.
No, you call on the people then. When you finish, then you call on the next person.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you do. So they can do,
Okay. My name is Abu Hassan Kuruma. I'm 2031. 2031, Kuruma Abu Hassan. We were the last batch of students that were admitted by now Dr. Lavali, but he never became our principal. He only admitted us and he left. So we were the last batch of students, and we were the first batch of students to start under Pagovi. And so I went through UBC Primary School, Centennial Secondary School, and currently I'm the chairman of CIOSA in North America. And so I will end here and ask Ongo John to introduce himself.
My name is John Yanguba. My admission number is H26. Well, I started under Benge as principal, then Dr. Lavali, onto Form 5. And I attended UBC Primary School partly because I started from other primary school and then finally at Centennial. So presently I'm in California trying to do something on my own. Thank you very much.
Good. Okay, Ngo Marie, it's your turn.
I'm 426 Marie Magnin. I'm sure the only person older than me in this forum is Auntie Billy. I think she was in Form 4, Form 5 when I went. She was a dormitory prefect, South Dakota dormitory. I met the second principal, A.W. Jones. I was there when E.D. Baker was there. So the second principal, and we dragged on to, I left when Pege just came in, the Africans took over. I was dining hall prefect, and I was a battle light. I never did any sports. I didn't run, but I was in the netball team, and I played a little bit of table tennis. And I was in Mighty, it was Minimal House then. What's the name now? Anyway, it was a Minimal House. Leon House. Converted to Leon. For you guys, I know I need to do some history and update you. Minimal was, Leon House was Minimal House.
Okay.
Baker was
Norman.
Joe's house. Norman House. Baker was
Norman.
Yes.
No,
Norman.
Baker was
Livingstone House.
Livingstone was
Livingstone House.
No, Baker was Norman.
Yeah, Baker was Norman.
Yes, we were first used to call them Weber last. Weber first is the other house. You know, those houses that don't matter.
My guy.
Livingstone House.
I think. So there was
Livingstone House.
There was Livingstone, there was Minimum, there was Normal House, and there was Wilberforce. Wilberforce always came last in our own era. So okay. I'm glad to be on board. I don't know which where I belong right now. I think I'm floating. But basically, I'm in the UK and I've joined up with a UK branch.
Okay.
I think it will be more beneficial because if I'm in Sierra Leone, I'll pay Leons. You know what that means?
Yes. That's good. Thank you very much. Auntie Millicent, I was going to call upon you, but you may need to adjust your camera a little bit. Bring down the camera so we can see your face.
Yes. Do you want me to talk now?
No, we need to adjust your camera. Just adjust the camera so we can see your face.
Yeah.
Have I done so?
So while you are adjusting that camera, I also recommend that, Doc, if they can help bring down your camera a little bit so the face can show, that would be great.
Yeah. I don't know how to do this. Are you seeing my face?
No, okay, it's coming up. Just keep bringing it up a little bit. Okay, meanwhile, I will go to Teresa Dick. Teresa Tenet.
I'm Teresa Dick. For the record of Centennial, I was Tenet Dick. 4260 Baker House. I think I was one of the best runners. Though under junior from Form 1 to Form 5. Under the leadership of the principal, Sidiki Brahma, from Lawana Primary School, UBC. What else? Currently in Freetown, heading a small project, a government-funded project, the youth in agriculture. I think so far that's what I can say about myself.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Now I'll go to.
Are you related to Richard Dick? Okay.
Brother Jira.
Yes. All right. 1629 Gerard Brewer. I actually attended primary school in Blama, Kenema districts, and came to Centennial while Dr. Labali was there. And Labali. And I think they left while we were in Form 3. And Mr. Gobi came.
Yeah.
Mr. Labali taught me history in Form 3, and Dr. Labali taught me, I think, additional math. But I think I dropped additional math later on. So right now I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm the SecGen for the North American branch, CSA.
Thank you very much. You can go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everybody. How is Css from a product of Minimore Primary School, then to Centennial Secondary School. I under the principalship of Mr. Lavalley. I live in Toronto, Canada. I'm happy to join and see everybody this morning.
Thank you. Okay, let me go to Auntie Melissa, even though we can't see you completely, but okay, now it's coming up. It's coming up. Auntie Melissa, go ahead.
Good afternoon from Sierra Leone to North American branch, CSA branch. I am Millicent Lavalini Bonda, 97. A product also from Minimore to Centennial. I attended Centennial from Form 1 to Form 5, and then went to Frabe College, where I studied, and on completion of my course, I went to give back to Centennial what they had given me. I was one of the first graduate teachers to go and teach in the school. And there I met my current husband for 50 years now. And I want to really thank God that He has brought us thus far.
Amen.
We are now retired. I retired in 2013. He retired in 2007. So thank God we are retirees living in IMAT, Regent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was just doing the focus. So the next person on is Suzanne Bangura.
Good morning. Can you guys see me?
Oh,
Yeah, we
yeah.
can.
Yeah.
I managed to call in. Actually, Mr. John Yanguba woke me up. I have been sick. I did a surgery on my hand, as you can see. So I had difficulty sleeping last night. I didn't sleep until 3 a.m. So I'm kind of drowsy. Maybe I'll be in and out of the meeting. But thank God I'm in. 1611 was my is it ID? Admission number. I went to Centennial in 1971-72 school year from Danville, UBC, Pangbaya.
Wow.
And I was deputy senior prefect of 77, class of 77. And I was in the choir and of Mighty Baker House.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yes, I went to Centennial under the principalship of Dr. Lavali and ended up with Mr. Govey. And Mrs. Lavali taught me history in Forms 2 and 3. And I won the history prize all of those years I did history under her. Thank you very much. I live in California, USA. My name is Suzanne Campbell Bangura still. I still maintain my Campbell.
Okay.
I compounded my name with
Yes.
my husband's name.
Yeah.
Thank you
With his
very much. Thank
permission.
you very much. Thank you very much. I see go and see if I'm not to say. Go ahead. Yep.
Samantha said 1446. I was in Centennial where Dr. Lavali was there, and I was taught by Mrs. Lavali when she was Mrs. Bonda until she became Mrs. Lavali. And it was a great memory for us. And for my children, Minimum, UBC School, and our parents were very influential in my true community and the Centennial Secondary School. Thank you very much, and we love our school, we love our city. So let's come together and try to bring our school back to where it's supposed to be or where it was. I mean,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that Rookie Levy.
Rukia Sisi Levy, 2249, went to UBC Primary School and then to Centennial. I'm part of the North America branch. I live in New York. Thank you.
And then Mary Cisse. Mary Cisse.
Mrs. Lavali, adjust the camera.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Mary. Your mic is on mute. Okay, good. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my name is Mary Soare. Admission number 1304. Is that right? Entered Centennial 1969 September, and Mr. Lavalley at that time was the principal, and Mrs. Lavalley, who was Miss Bonda at that time, was one of our teachers.
Miss Bonda.
Yeah, she was Miss Bonda at the time. And I was there when she got married, and had DJ, that is Daniel John, who used to come to the dormitory and enjoying playing with us. Yeah, I now live in the UK, and I'm part of the CIOSA UK branch.
Welcome.
Hi,
Thank
hi,
you very
Mary.
much.
I have not met. We have not met yet. Mrs. Manye.
I think she's muted.
Okay. I'll go to Joseph Musa. Joseph Musa, are you ready? Okay, Joseph Musa, while you are waiting, I'll go to Abdul Kamara. Introduce yourself. You are on mute.
Oh, okay. I just unmute myself. My name is Abdul Kamara from Philadelphia, 2523.
Thank you very much. Okay. Rosetta Tali, are you there? Rosetta Tali. Okay. So it looks like we'll do the introduction as we go on, but now we'll go to Dr. Lavalley himself is here, so he can introduce himself before he speaks. Anyway, the mic is yours. You are on mute. You are on mute, Doc. It's on mute. Okay, good. Yeah, thank you. It's now unmuted.
Bring it up a little bit.
I didn't
Doc, there's a background noise somewhere.
No, yeah, that is
Dr. Lavalley, can you?
I will go to.
Oh, now to talk now.
Hello, Dr. Lavalley, can you?
Talk now. Okay. Sound. This sound. No, please close the sound. One.
Okay.
Hello. Yes, I'm very. Of the sound of. I'm actually very glad to have been invited. Why? Yeah. Glad. Wherever you are, have been very good ambassadors of Centennial. Yes, yeah, great careers. Sometimes you meet some of you again, yeah. But wherever you are, I'm glad you speak of me, and I don't know. I think that they are, I don't want to call them to me. I wish you well, and I hope your conference will go on very well. Thank you very much. I'm proud I'm able to talk to some of you. And well, yeah, that's proud of some but they are the students. Whatever way you can help them, that they want to become like you and no more than thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lavalley. And I see Dr. Baker has joined us. So, Dr. Baker, you can introduce yourself. You are on mute. Dr. Baker, you are on mute. You are still on mute.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, I'm trying to get my video to work, but it doesn't seem to work. It was on and
it was working. Okay, now it's come on.
It's working now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, good afternoon to all the COCADs and all the special people. I missed Dr. Lavalley's talk, but greetings to you all, and good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, Joseph Musa, can you go ahead now?
Thank you very much, Hassan. I am Joseph Musa. Actually, I started in 1976. That was when we had the turmoil at Centennial. I'm 2400. Presently, I'm the branch chairman. I'm presently working for World Vision in the health project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know that more people are coming in, but because of time, we can do introductions, final introductions later. We want to move on to the recognition, the remark statements. And under the remark statement, again, we are now going to give Mr. Lavalley and Mrs. Millicent Lavalley 6 minutes, three minutes in between them to give us now some remarks as we move on. So maybe we can start with Mrs. Lavalley and then Dr. Lavalley will come in.
I want to thank you people very much for inviting us to join this conference. I'm excited because I've never done any virtual conference before. It's my daughter who came to teach me how to do it. And so I'm happy again to see my old students, yes, after so many, many years. And I'm thankful to God that I was able to give back to Centennial, you know, what they imparted in me, the Christian principles, and I went to teach in the school for about 5 to 6 years when we had to leave because of some unfortunate incidents that happened. But now I'm a retired person at Regent, and I hope and pray that the school will progress from glory to glory. I know what the teachers are going through or the principals are going through because we've been there before. Matthew is not an easy place really to teach because it is so many miles from the capital. People want to be in the capital to teach. So when you have teachers there, you have to thank God that they are there to help, because one of the challenges we had was teacher attrition. People leave to go to the bigger cities. Perhaps when it is even close to examination time, they leave. But you, the principal, you have to try to get people to replace them. But I hope Mr. Fortune and Mr. Senge are not having that problem. So the students, the present students, please study hard and fly the banner high for Centennial, because that school was known in the 60s or 70s for its good performance in the O levels. Remember, one time we came top in the country, and people could not believe that a school in the village could come top in the West African examinations. But now I understand that standards are going down, not due to the slackness of the principals, but the students these days that we have, they don't want to study. So please, please, we want you students to study hard. Don't depend on this spying, because now the students here feel that it's a right to spy. They even almost beat up a principal for not allowing them to spy. So I hope that is not the same with our school. So, and I'm proud of you people there for the way you've organized the old student organization in North America. We had a vibrant FUSA here in Freetown, Sierra Leone, but after the death of some active people like Nyambe, Brian Nyambe, Dan Fox, and then even the latest one, Bukumu, the organization is not very active here in Freetown. But I phoned my cousin this morning. I said, how about Fielsa in Bo? He said they are trying. So I'm appealing to us here in Sierra Leone to copy the examples of our people here in North America. Please, please, let's support the school. Let's not give up on Centennial. We know we can do and follow what our school motto says. Together, let us march onward to our goal. Please, for sake of God and country, let's strive with heart and soul. And when the journey is well and our work is nobly done, you see, we'll be proud that we attended that school. And that is exactly what you people are doing in North America, to show that you are proud to have attended Centennial. And I can't finish this without thinking of our past principals, especially our founder, Principal Pabeka, Ron's dad, Pabeka. He worked hard. And the past missionaries, Miss Brown, Miss Hoffman, Mrs. Gere, and many others. Those people really, really, really taught us, and we are proud of them. And I hope that God will be with them. If some of them are dead, wherever they are, let God protect them, and we remember them for their hard work. Thank you, guys. Keep the banner flying. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Auntie Millie. Thank you very much for that insightful contribution. And
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we will go to our principal, Dr. Lavalley. Like I said again, we were the last batch he admitted to that school. And I think we have been doing our best to try to make sure that what Auntie Millicent is referencing here continue to happen as we continue to contribute. Doc, it's your turn.
Yes, I bring that. First, I want to allow me out. After October 3, when I graduated from Furabi, I had all that now me I have connection um, but because of when they are and if I don't
Oh,
to
okay.
them,
Doc, can you hold on 1 minute?
I say the
I don't
Doc,
know
hold on
if
one. Doc,
he can use Auntie
Something is
Millicent's phone.
echoing.
yeah, Doc,
Yes.
hold on 1 minute. Either Auntie Millicent, can you put your phone on mute so that way it will not echo? Good. Okay, now Doc, you go ahead.
yes, yes. Most people many have been, but I taught in my school for a year, 1953 to 19 for a year. And of the first graduates, African graduates to go and teach there, only through the influence of and I had permission. I'm not PhD, but I'm methodist. I had offered to teach Harvard Academy. I said, well, let me go and help people who normally don't have African graduates and who would not like to stay way in the public. I'm from Ghana. That's how I have this connection with Centennial. I also knew and of course his son that to be part of you. I'm very happy that you all to always is that you should live life according to the true motto and the spiritual values of the school. So that it can be a role model both for Centennial and for Africa. We are best come from say that people be able to copy you, they will not be achieved. As long as they be in touch and be helpful, God invited you. I wish you all a very good year and success in all. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you. We know that God has blessed you with long life, and we are glad to just have you on record with CSA to reconnect you with CSA. Again, as chairman of CSA North America, I will be making a remark. But before I do that, I want to ask if the chairman of the UK is around. So the chairman of UK is not yet around, and the chairman of Sierra Leone, Peter Kaiwo, is having problem in and out. So I'll go ahead and just make a remark before we go on to the next item on the agenda. We will always come back to them. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this virtual conference, and I'm glad that the good Lord has kept us during this pandemic, be able to reconnect, at least to see each other's faces. We thank God for having had the vision to obtain this platform since 2015. We never knew there was going to be a pandemic, but God knows how to prepare his servants for the ultimate things that are unforeseen. So we just want to thank God and to thank each other for those that have stayed committed to the Centennial vision, to the Centennial dream. As we heard Dr. Lavali say, the spiritual foundation of Centennial has been the fundamental key to the sustenance of that school. That no matter the challenges we will face as an institution, the God that led the missionaries to build that school is still alive, is still on the throne, and will give us the strength, the wisdom to carry on. We all know that according to the scriptures, the 7 spirits, out of those 7 spirits are the spirit of wisdom. The spirit of wisdom is very fundamental. I will pray that each and every one of us will continue to receive that spirit of wisdom that will enable us to work as a team, that will give us the strength, that will give us the direction to generate the resources that we will freely give to Centennial and make sure that in our lifetime, things will happen the way we want them to happen. I want to thank the members of the CSIS North America team for having held on the fort, because it has not been easy coming to this point. But again, you don't wait for 100% in order to do something. 1% can make a difference. 0.5% can make a difference. And for making that difference, I just want to thank each and every one of you. Today, it is another great opportunity for us. A conference like this would have been taking place at Huntington University, but the pandemic has not allowed us. But we believe that 2022, this 2021 itself, or 2022, we will be at Huntington University. For most of you who have not visited Huntington University, the design of Centennial Secondary School is similar to Huntington University. That C shape is the same as Huntington University. So I just want to thank you again and to welcome you formally to this virtual conference. Thank you, and God bless you, and hope that whatever deliberations we go through at this particular conference, that those deliberations will bear fruits and ultimately bring glory to Centennial and glory to the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know if the UK chairman is on yet. If it's not on, maybe an active member of UK can speak on his behalf. I know that God Mary Cisse is here. Mary Soiree, do you want to speak on behalf of your chairman? Well, since maybe Auntie Marie can speak on behalf of the chairman, I know that you have been involved for a while.
Sorry, I think that role is too big for me, in the sense that I arrived at the wrong time. I've not even attended any meeting because of the COVID. So unfortunately, yeah. So I would just suggest you hang on. He may join it anytime. Mary will be in the better position.
Okay.
I can still talk a whole lot about CSIS Freetown branch.
Okay,
seriously,
well,
because I gave my blood and whatever to read, but like Auntie Billy just said there are issues, serious issues.
Okay, no problem. Well, because Reverend Campbell keeps going in and out and he's not on, maybe when we come there, we're going to let you speak. So, God Mary, you want to go ahead?
I haven't got much to say, I'm afraid, because I haven't been able to speak to Prezzo, as I call him, in the last couple of and I don't know what he has planned to present. But I would confirm that we are still a group, still actively trying to raise funds towards the school. And that is as much I can say for now. May Emmanuel will join us later. I'm not 100% sure. So sorry about that.
No, don't need to be sorry. That's okay. Very understandable. Yeah, it's a big shoe to wear, so you can understand.
And we haven't had any virtual meetings since COVID. Maybe Betty would have given you a better view of what we are doing, but unfortunately, she's not also joining us. So Emmanuel hopefully will join us, and then he will give his own view. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, no problem. Well, I know Reverend Campbell is not on. So what I'm going to do, there are two aspects that's going to happen here. Auntie Marie, you're going to talk on the overall CIOSA. And since Joseph Musa is here for CIOSA Matru-Jong, home is that, how do you call the Matru-Jong branch?
That is the home branch.
The home branch.
The home branch. Okay. The home branch. Okay. So you will talk. We're going to give the both of you, so that way you can feel us in the process. So Auntie Marie, we give you first the floor.
Western area was resuscitated with the support of people like Dr. Yoma, small boy, Reverend Kaiwo, the other Kaiwo. I get confused with Peter, and one is Peter, the other one is something else.
It's Moses.
Wait, Moses, thank you. Moses, yeah. Kukubu, Mr. Dijalo, he stayed all the way eastern. I stayed all the way, Godrich, and we had our meetings at St. Joseph's Convent, and we inform people, and when you get there, you have about 5 people there. Somehow we managed to stretch that. Yeah, at our best, we were able to get members to attend the meetings, But it's the commitment. And then for me, in addition to that, we raised some funds for the rehabilitation of the chapel. We made some pledges. Some of us gave our pledges. The money was never accounted for. And a whole series of stuff, especially driving from one point to the other in Freetown. And you get there for a meeting, and you're there, you only find 3 people or so. There are many people there. And so we suggested that maybe they can target the young ones who will be there. For people like me, I've been retired took an early retirement since 2010, although I'm not tired yet, but we'll be as advisors and give support as we go along. And we expected the young generation to get on board. It's a struggle. Life in Sierra Leone as a whole is a struggle. I will just put it that way. Bo Branch used to be very, very vibrant. I was when I was working for Coast Canada, was also a member of Bo Branch, and at that time, Bo Branch was the most vibrant branch. And I know we single-handedly almost sponsored the 50th anniversary in Matru, which I attended. There was a handful of us in Jala as a branch of Jala. We attended, and that was under the leadership of Issa Rogers. But he too, life is catching up. He had an accident after that. And you expect these things to revolve, You expect it to revolve and really motivate the younger ones to take over. But I think they are busier than us, chasing everything under the sun. So I really admire Reverend Peter Kaiwo. He's been trying. He's been really doing his best. But it looks like Western area, as it is through, like I said, my disappointment in the, people who are not transparent with money, and It's difficult to travel in Freetown, and life in Freetown, life in Sierra Leone is hard, seriously difficult, you know. So we need to really think, you know, how we can motivate and entice people to get on board. But like you said, when you think of Oba, I have to, unfortunately, I have to mention it, not as a comparison in terms of competition, but most of these old school branches are not really, what would I say, driven by a whole lot of people. I'm telling you, my husband was Western Area chairman and he was national chairman. It's a few dedicated, committed people that you need to come on board. Dedicated that I'm going to dedicate 2-3 years of my life to the school that made me what I am today. If you are thinking of numbers, it will not work. It's commitment. The few people, if you have a core group of people who are really dedicated to do it, things can move. That's from my experience.
Brilliantly concluded. Thank you very much. It is really true. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. And before we even comment on that, we are going to give it to my younger brother, Joseph Musa, who's been holding the fort at the home front. Yeah, Joseph, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Abu. As you've heard from Auntie Marie, life in Sierra Leone is not easy. And, you know, like the whole world, we have this pandemic. The COVID-19 has created some real difficulties for us. But it's good that now we have some of the restrictions now being, you know, downsized by government. So we are still keeping to the some of the COVID prevention, wearing of face masks, social distance, hand wash. But many of those gatherings are now being waived by the government. So we have not had any meeting yet since our last virtual meeting a few months ago. But we are planning to get one immediately after this meeting to see how we can work together to do some of our plans that we have put together for the past months. As you can see, the principal came up with the renovation of one of the buildings, which I think all of you have seen the estimate costs for that rehabilitation that we are working towards. I think there is something going on. People are working around it to make sure that they contribute for the rehabilitation. Life is difficult, you know, and as Auntie Marie said, it takes the grace of God and it takes commitment. And there are very, very, very few people. Many times when you call up meetings, unfortunately, we are not able to call any meeting, as I said, but we plan to call one, and we plan to review some of our accounts, because we have a live account, which I think now has been dwindled because we have been using some of the money that has been in that account for bereavement. And we have lost so many of our brothers during this COVID and before the COVID, and there has not been any contributions that have been forthcoming. So we have been using the little bit of money that we have in the account. And so when we meet in the next coming weeks, we'll be able to come up with what we have in our account as it is now. I don't know how much it is, but we'll be able to give you updates in our next conference, detail as to what we have and what we'll be doing for the coming months. There was planned for another convention, mini convention, which is planned late this year, and all of that is what we'll be planning to discuss in our next meeting in the next month. For now, there's not much that I can say beyond that, but I think we are able to you know, get a very good week for our past teacher, Mr. Gobio, and so many contributions. So we thank all of those guys that contributed towards the week of the 40-day ceremony of past teacher Gobio. We still continue to hold the fort, and we continue to work together as one so that we have a better Centennial. Thank you very much. I think we'll be able to give you more updates in our next meeting. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much. By the way, your screen is working very well. I think I was just reading here that you were having some problem to join. But another thing that you guys mentioned, this tool that we have, this platform, you can use it in the UK if the UK branch wants to use it, so the pandemic does not keep you away from connecting, and you can use it in Sierra Leone. All we need to do is to just coordinate it, right? It's a platform for the whole of CIOSA. So we have something that is given to us by the Google Foundation. So this is something, there is more to this than we are actually using. We have been touched a little bit of what Google had provided us, because we are not an NGO here in the United States. So we can use this across the board globally. But I thank you, because I know those challenges. And Auntie Marie did point out something very, very significant. That is, it is going to take the few committed ones that are going to drive this CIOSA. And, you know, we thank God. God has given us this energy for this main time, but it cannot always be like this. We have to start to plan, especially taking CIOSA to the technology level, right? Not all of us are yet vast in that area, but we hope that some younger people will come that we can train to take over this particular aspect of things, because I won't always be here doing this, right? So that commitment, we have to continue to pray. The God that brought us this far will take us even further. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You were very welcome, my brother. So on that note, we are going to have the recognition statement from the Paramount Chief, the Member of Parliament, and the Bond District Chairman. But I don't think any one of them is here. So in that regard, we're going to move on to the Css Infrastructure Committee, which my brother just highlighted briefly. I am going to ask Brother Abdul to take a lead on this conversation, since he had actually articulated a very brilliant position on that matter. Brother Abdul, do you want to take a lead on this?
Can you say that again, Chairman?
This CSS Infrastructure Committee concept, right, in regards to complete rehabilitation of the school and the processes we must undertake to accomplish that.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. My name is Abdul Kamara. I'm 25, 23. The rationale behind me talking about the infrastructural committee was the fact that all of us have different ways how we're impacted in the school. And many of us have the passion to develop the school. But I foresee a development that will be a little chaotic if we don't take our time to plan well. One or two families or one or two people can come together. We are going to do this, we are going to do that, which is very good. But we don't want to do an infrastructural development that will distort the original infrastructure that was in place. Like Chiama was saying, if you go to Huntington University, you will see that it's a complete replica of what it did in Centennial. And so, and you all agree with me that Centennial is such a unique school. There is yet a school in Sierra Leone that we have the infrastructure that we have in Centennial. And for that, we need to be very, very grateful. So we want to make sure that we have a committee of experts and stakeholders that wherein if this family decides we are going to refurbish room 1, you refurbish room 1 according to the infrastructure, the original infrastructure. And if you have to improve on it, that improvement will not distort what was originally there. For example, if we want to have projectors, that will not have any effect on the current infrastructure. But if you want to see, you want to paint somewhere outside the structure, then that is completely out of place, because the decision not to paint those buildings outside was a carefully and deliberate decision, which the school is benefiting from now. So we need to have a committee of engineers, a committee of moral guarantors that will make sure that if anybody, or if we all decide as a body to develop, let's say, the auditorium, that committee will now go there and see how can we modernize that auditorium, still leaving intact the original infrastructure that was there, and what is going to be involved, what is the cost. Then we now use that model for every other classroom that we want to develop. But if we just leave it loosely like that, this person will do that, that person will do that, then the school will lose the beauty that we have. And Centennial is the only school that have the kind of infrastructure that we have. I cannot stop emphasizing that. So for us to be more organized and be deliberate, I was recommending that we have an infrastructural committee that will be contacted for any infrastructure development that has to be taking place in that school.
Thank you very much, Brother Abdul. What Brother Abdul, the idea he floated, you know, some of us have lived so long in this part of the world, and we have worked in areas where we have been involved with quality assurance and things like that. A project like Centennial does not belong to one stakeholder. There are many stakeholders involved. The first stakeholders are the proprietors of the school, the UBC mission. The second stakeholders are the old students, the alumni. The third stakeholder are the teachers that are in there. The first stakeholders are the students. And then the fifth stakeholders are the community. So in order for what has been initially implemented, maintained, and sustained, it needs to always go through a vetting process. Vetting in the sense that you do not outlandishly dislocate the original plan, but what you do, you enhance the original plan so that it can address the issues of the modern times. For example, we are talking about the chapel. Now, if you want to renovate the chapel, you don't want to paint the outside of the chapel because that was not the original intent. The colors of the interior of the chapel has always been probably light blue. You want to keep that, right? But you want to also make sure that the chairs, those pulpit chairs, you know, they are maintained as they were always, you know, shiny and things like that. You can do that. Now you can bring technology into the building. So which means there are going to be some wiring changes in the areas, you know, to just try to accommodate that. But the original infrastructure remains. So that's what Abdul is talking about here in terms of an infrastructure committee. So if Askia say, I want to refurbish room 1, so I have the money, but I'm not going to come, I bring it out to the infrastructure committee. The infrastructure committee analyze the program, vet out the engineers that are going to work on it, or whoever is going to work on the building. You know, like for example, we saw when Engineers Without Border went to Centennial, they didn't overtly change anything. They just tried to enhance the original infrastructure, and it's beautiful. Okay, the layout is beautiful. So we want to be able to do that. So that's what the infrastructure committee is all about. So that means working with the principals, but specifically the proprietors of the school, that is the UBC mission. They have to play a major role, because if they do the role of the principals of the school is administration. It's not for like here in America, you don't see if the principal wants to develop a school, they go to the county board and other things like that. They have the system to come in there. But if everybody is doing one thing and the other, that money is lost, and eventually over time the infrastructure gets out of order. So that's what we are talking about here. I will now leave the floor for any contributions and to see how we can go about that and how we can work with the proprietors to ensure that this becomes a viable way forward. The floor is open.
First, this is John Yanguba. First, as my brother said, it will seem to be chaotic. So first, let us really come together and really prioritize what we want to be done first as on the infrastructure side. We the group, we the user group, let us come together and really prioritize this. We want this, we want this, we want this, we want this. And then when somebody comes in, you know, possibly even today, this is really where I want to focus for. This really where I want to focus for. This way I want to focus for. You know, so let us get together and do that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to marry. Just hold on 1 minute. I think Fatmata raises. Go marry. Hold on 1 minute. Fatmata raised her hand.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Auntie Marie, go ahead.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
About the infrastructure for the school. I just want to bring one point to the principals, knowledge. The two principals, like they were saying, those missionaries work very hard to plan their schools, and most of the time now, they just try to renovate things them in the school like they feel like doing it, or people come to distribute something, or people come to donate stuff. They just go about and do stuff without letting the group know or the school body know. So I just want for us all to be on the same page, because these things are not really good for our schools. If some people are going to renovate areas in their own way and the other the school was not done that way, it's not good. So Mr. 14 is online. I've not seen Mr. Senge yet, but I just want them to know that it's not good for a leader to behave that way. Whatever is going on should be communicated with the whole group. And whatever people try to do to renovate, to donate, it should be communicated with the group. Because the plan of the school should be in the same way that that the missionaries plan it. If they want to add any other buildings to the school, that will be fine. But it has to be included in the school plan and everything. It's not just one person going or group of people going donating or want to do some work and they go about doing it without getting the board or the community know about it. That's all my own comments I wanted to bring to the group.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Auntie Marie, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it will be very much in place. You know, if we have this committee. But then I'm just curious. Do we have Ron is coming in and out, you know, but I'm sure there must have been a master plan of the whole compound.
Yeah.
I think we should go back to that to ensure that that is what the missionaries intended. For me, when I sit down here, cutting even a tree, because some of those things is history. It's history that should be maintained. You know, those trees provided shade for us. Sometimes the classrooms, you remember when I went to Centennial, school was over at 3:15 when it was really, really hot. And then sometimes it required us to sit down under one of those shades, the trees where we can have breeze and, you know, and talk much more freely and things like that. It's history. I know the temptation is there for somebody to come, I want to construct this. And like we say in Mende Gayale Mota, they bring something, you just go overboard. You know, oh yes, you need it. And then you lose your control. But if you have this kind of committee, that is a check mechanism. You know, a committee that will include, of course, the mission itself, the school, and obviously the old COSA. That's my take. But do we have a general plan?
Yes.
I know it was there, but is it somewhere in the archives? Ron,
Yes.
can you dig it like you dug my O-level result for that? Anyway, no, but it's important. It's important because you see, in our parts of the world, history is not really taken seriously. Yeah, we don't maintain old things. We are more inclined into having new things and just demolishing old things like that and losing all the history and the importance that that they do carry that right from the start. So yes, this committee is very, very important, but we have to be very careful about who we place there. You know, people will really, really ensure that it's followed.
Thank you very much. I think we seem to be on the same plan on that, and that will be a resolution that we are going to communicate with the mission and other things like that. One of the things that God John was talking about, how we are going to go about this, we are going to come to that, because what we want to do is when we come to agenda number 8, we will discuss that. But yes, to answer your question, Auntie Marie, there's a master plan. And one of the areas that because the information is not just in one place. The biography, when we come to discuss the biography of Pabeka, right? Pabeka did explain what it took to build that school, where most of the resources came from. And that is why we have to be very careful about changing things. Because once we make the book available to everybody, people read it, it's easier to persuade people, hey, don't make this mistake, right? And again, we can take legal actions if somebody wants beyond that. So let's say Mr. Senga, Mr. Fortune, they decide to do certain things. We can take legal action against them, right? Yeah. Because it's going to be a collaborative effort. But at the same time, we want to be able to work with them to ensure that things like you talk about, those trees, the reason why those trees are there and the reason why the compound was designed that way is for the wind to blow through and those trees to provide shade, right? And they planted a lot of mangoes so that students who don't have food at home, when they come, there's at least some food on campus to eat fruits, right? Which is good. So it was a well strategic plan, like Brother Abdul has said. So we are going to work on that and come up with a strategy of setting up this committee involving all the stakeholders. So I think we're on the right plan. So there's a master plan. That master plan will be at Huntington, but the information is also in the book. So with the book can lead us to where the master plan is. And that compound, the original compound was 43 acres. It is in the book. The design is in the book. 43 acres. Some of those acres have been encroached upon. So we have a bigger way. Yeah. So down the road again, we can take resolution, right, to reclaim every inch of that land. We know that some of it has been taken by our own brothers and sisters, but they are wrong. If I know about Centennial and I want to go build a house in Madrid, there are many places you can get land. But you don't go specifically, So any brother or sister that have involved in that, right, that's their own mistake. But down the road, like it happened in Freetown, those lands will be reclaimed because it's on record, right?
Yeah, grammar school.
Yeah.
I want all the trees preserved. I know where I had my first kiss as a teenager.
Those are great memories to recall. That's good. But to God be the glory. To God be the glory. Now, so we are all on agreement that we should have an infrastructure committee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anybody against this agreement? Because we can, if you are against it, you can say it and you can have it on record here. Don't be afraid, because sometimes you may have a strong view for some reason, and we are not saying. But if there's anybody against this agreement to set up an infrastructure committee for Centennial, please state your reason here for the records. Otherwise, if you are in support of it, can just everyone say yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing all the voices though. I'm just hearing one voice.
Everybody on mute?
Some are on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good.
No, but we have to try it. Even if we are going to change it later, let's try it first.
Yeah.
Yes, let's try it first. Let's have the committee and put agendas together and try something.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are going to work with since Abdul Kamara initiated that idea, we are going to work with him to put together the process. It's going to be
Which one? Front one.
So thank you very much. We can now move to the next item on the agenda. This is supposed to be a 4-man report, and this report is supposed to come from Goawa.
Let me see the one we're talking about.
Dr. Will.
Okay, the front from the back.
God Mary Mustafa. Well, I think they are all not here, but Goawa is here. Goawa, are you here? Do you want to give the report on the 4-man committee? Goawa, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to give the report on the 4-man committee?
Oh my God. Can you go to the next agenda so that I can?
Okay.
Yeah, can you please go to the next agenda so that I can get it together?
Okay. All right.
I wasn't sure about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Chairman.
Yes.
Before you get to the next agenda, with the infrastructure committee, we've all agreed to have it. I thought probably before we end this meeting, we can suggest some few names that should be in that committee, so that Abu will work with them, you know. Yeah, because this is the only time we have now. Because I think that was the my understanding, that was the essence of really having a committee. Then we here can suggest few names, or somebody can volunteer in addition to Abdul.
Yeah, can I say something to that?
Yes.
In as much as it's it's important, you hit the nail while the iron is hot. I thought we already mentioned that the mission is a paramount, should be a paramount member, because after all, the school belongs to them. The school, the CIOSA, and then I would suppose CIOSA Sierra Leone, CIOSA UK branch, and CIOSA North America and stuff like that. But as far as specific names, these are things I think that we should do online. Because if we say we are going to give names now, first of all, there's nobody here that really, represents the mission besides Reverend Kyle. But of course, we can say him, but maybe he has other ideas. So I would think I would suggest that we agree on which branches have to be there, and then the branches should we say CSA UK, then CSA UK can give a name.
Okay.
That's my take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is good. And in addition to what you're saying, I think the two principles definitely have to be part of that committee.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just come in. The only thing is that I don't want this committee to be very big.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they want as few members as possible so that we will have dedicated people really there. That's it. So we should be careful very much. Yeah, we have if we have just like about 3 people. The other, like the principals, they are the 2 principals. If they are going to become members, also they'll be involved in it. But if they can be like supporting staff, supporting group for this, I don't want the group. I'm just saying I don't want the group to be too big. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But the principals are the ones on ground, and any development goes through them. So they are a core. Yeah.
Let me come in here because they are there on the ground. They have their own agendas.
Yeah, but it's
the
idea of having.
They have their own agenda. So if we are going to prioritize, we can consult with them and say, hey, this is how we are prioritize our vision for us to go the next 12 months, the next 24 months. We discuss with them. And then from there we'll go forward. We're not going to sidestep them, but I really want it to be very big. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Based on what I know about committees like that, they are normally not actually big committees, and you want professionals in there. You want somebody who has an engineering background. Yeah, you want somebody who has a design architectural background to be in there. Because when a renovation is going to happen, you're going to look at the infrastructure, you look at the historical background of that infrastructure, and then you make recommendations. Right, so those are the things that happen. But like Auntie Marie said, it is going to be CSA, and CSA North America will identify somebody. CSA UK will identify somebody. CSA Sierra Leone will identify somebody. The mission, the UBC mission, will identify somebody. So they are there, and then they can work with the principal because the principals being administrators, they will be involved, but they won't. Have a decision-making role on the team. They will just
I see that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good. So we'll take it online and continue the conversation and make sure that we roll out something in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So now,
can I do something?
Oh yeah.
I heard the conversation about the rehabilitation process. My observation, even with the one that they did with the former Miss Rita Savage, well, cheap labor always comes with the price. If you look at the I think there's still one building that has the original zinc and structure in place. If you look at that structure and look at some of the roofing that was done for rehabilitation, there's no parity there. There's some difference, and doesn't reflect really how it was before. It's simply because it was cheap labor. So that has to be taken into consideration. Otherwise, it's always going to be different, and we'll finally end with the end result will be. The ultimate result will be we lose what really the original picture was like.
Yeah.
So just remember that we're having, like whoever said, somebody mentioned that we need people who really have an idea as to what needs to be done or what it should look like, not just having somebody on the board. Yes, we have people who can make suggestions, bring up good ideas that will help. But when it comes to the technical aspect of the work itself, you need somebody who really have the know-how to make sure that it's not, if not exact as it is, but at least 95% will be okay, but not 70%.
Like
Good
quality
point.
assurance.
Yeah, good point. Good point on that. You
Yeah.
know, again, like Auntie Marie said, you know, somebody that has limited resources always fall for every resource that comes.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like a broad guideline and
Yeah.
quality assurance, inclusive of some quality assurance as well.
That is why, again, this biography is going to be very important. Every old student must read that biography because it tells you about even the zinc, where it was bought from and how. So you see, everything had quality because of the kind of money that was spent. And you can't just get everybody. There are so many carpenters, but there are carpenters and there are carpenters. Like we'll show you that we say there are eggs and there are eggs, right? Okay, go Mary, you are putting up your hand. Your mic is mute. You are on mute.
You're on mute.
Okay, go
Right.
ahead. Yeah.
I've just spoken to Emmanuel. Unfortunately, he won't be joining us. So he's asked to give you his apologies. He's at work. So he won't be able to join us. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So, Brother Abdul,
Yes, sir.
we have just floated a few ideas. Then you will listen to this video later on again and see what we discuss on this infrastructure issue. But we need to come up with a way to reach out to the UBC mission in Sierra Leone, the national conference, and start a serious conversation, so that they can give us they must have one representative that is responsible for infrastructures in the mission to be on board. And then here in North America, we can have somebody to be on that board, and then we can have the UK and then Sierra Leone as well. So we can do those kind of things. But hopefully each and every one of us will be able to get the Baker biography to read, so that when people are talking, they are talking from an informed position. So on that note, we will go to the Baker biography, and I'll ask Dr. Baker to make a contribution on that. Dr. Baker.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes.
Am I on? Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been listening to all these comments, and it's a privilege to be with you folks. So anyway, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be with you folks, and an honor. As you know, my heart is so much in Sierra Leone, and of course, as a physician, I spent a lot of time there at the Matru Hospital, and I was hoping to go back, but with the COVID issue, it makes it very difficult, because when you come back, you have to do another 2 weeks of quarantine. And when I take a team, people are not able to do 2 weeks there and then another 2 weeks off here. So that's hopefully things will change for next year. But there are a lot of challenges at the high school, at Centennial Secondary School. But Abu called me a few months ago and asked about this, and I think he saw my dad's book, the Pilot, Principal, and President, and the middle part of that book was about Centennial Secondary School. And I'm very proud of what mom and dad did. I said mom and dad. We always think of dad, but if it was not for my mother, things would not have taken place like they did. And for myself, if it was not for my wife, I would not have been able to do what I did at the hospital there at Matru. So I say mom and dad, and I'm so grateful for the legacy they left our family and made such an impact there at Matru, not just in Matru, in Jange, Tifton, but actually the whole country. So I thank God for that. And I think it's a good idea to, I know the book is, did not publish it for a large number. It was mostly for family and friends and that type of thing. But using that, as I understand, Abu had suggested maybe you're going to take that middle section, maybe the whole thing, maybe the whole book, and use it, reprint it, and use it to help to maybe raise some funds to help with some of these projects you are looking at and you are planning on. So, he also asked me to write up a preface for the book, which I did about 2 months ago yesterday. I wrote that and sent it to Abu, and I hope that might be a way to start that preface. You can change it if you want, but that was what I came up with. So it's really a privilege. As I said, mom and dad did some amazing work way back in 1955. And of course, as you might not know, all of you, that was the same year that I lost my only brother in the Cheyenne River, that accident down at Pipon. So my heart is with the people of Sierra Leone, and especially the Mende people. I love I love to go back and serve the people that I love. So anyway, thank you for letting me have a few minutes just to be a part of this. I won't be able to stay long because I have something else going on later on. But if you have a question, I can try to answer it, but I think Abu can do that as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, and Doc, we just want to thank you for everything that you're doing. Dr. Baker has been really helpful in actually sending us some pictures that are going to be included in this publication. Like he said, the book was printed. It wasn't actually published, because when you publish, you have to have an ISBN number. So we are now going to make it an ISBN number, and so that other bookstores around the world can actually buy it and sell it. Also, it will bring in more revenue into the coffers. One of the things that I have been grappling with was whether to create our own publishing, CSA publishing, but if we're only going to publish one book, right?
Yes, that was it.
If there are CSA members that have writing abilities, good things to write about, we can actually have our own CSA publishing wing. Otherwise, we are going to look at a whole different route to make sure we publish it so we can have more revenue for the book, right? If we have done it under CSA, right, the royalties, besides the royalties and other things, we'll actually we'll only be spending the cost of printing the books, and most of the other amounts will come to us. So those are things we think about. But by the end of this month, or mid-May, we would have come to that conclusion, you know, and we'll have a price for the book and other things like that. So you'll be able to go to Amazon and buy it, or anywhere books are sold in the world. You'll be able to buy the book. And that's also going to be really good for the Baker legacy in terms of Centennial, as well as for the Centennial legacy, you know, because as I said, most of these things that we are discussing about infrastructure, when you read that book, it's going to be easy for me to talk and for others to understand, because all of us will be talking from informed decision. If we tell you the land that you are sitting on is Centennial land, you have no reason to deny it, because the person who paid for that land has the information written in his biography, has a diagram in his autobiography. So all of that will help us for legal reasons down the road, you know. So it is very important that we all actually buy those books. And if we have friends and relatives we want to buy for, we can also do that, right? If we can buy it for every student at Centennial, that would be even good. You know, it will bring in more money and things like that. So, but I will start informing people about it as we move along.
Can I say something else?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let me just end with this. I wrote this at the last sentence in that preface. And if you want to use it, fine. If not, you have something better, that's okay too. But I said, this is what I said. It is my prayer that the Lord will use this new edition of my father's book to inspire students, former students, faculty, and friends to truly follow Jesus and help Centennial Secondary School become the institution my dad and others had hoped and prayed it would be, for the glory of God.
And that is just perfect. We are going to use that. I'm not going to change anything because the preface you wrote is actually just very appropriate for the book. And when people read it, it will resonate with the aspirations of the founders of the school. So on that note, we will now go to the school performance report. Is Mr. Senger or Mr. Fortune online? Mr. Fortune was online, but I don't know if he left. Mr. Fortune? Okay, go are you ready?
Oh, you
we will still give you time. We can still give you time if you want some more time.
No, I wasn't aware that this was coming up. That's why I wasn't ready.
Or do you want us to give you time so you can send your report to us via email or via WhatsApp message after you guys? So that
okay, perhaps that would be fine. Because let me talk to the ladies. Because the last time we met was last year, October.
Oh, okay.
We had some plans, but we never really concluded anything. We had a meeting once because the other ladies are very busy traveling back and forth. So that's why we didn't conclude. But the whole point about the meeting was the framework. That's all.
Yes.
The framework of Centennial.
Of Centennial, moving forward. In fact, which we tie in very much with also what we are talking about, the infrastructure committee and the future of Centennial. Yeah.
Yeah, so in our meeting, we decided that we have to locate a land on the premises of the whole compound, to locate a land where we can build a building that will be like a
Siosa house.
Siosa house, kind of. Yes. And in this building, we shall have we can make a canteen. There will be a canteen there to sell finger foods and soft drinks, and then a storage room, bathroom, and then a stage. That will be a double for a gym as well. Those are the few things we discussed, but we didn't really confirm anything. So I have to get back to the other ladies and see what we can come up with, then we can get back to you.
Okay, no problem. And we can put it on the next agenda because this is supposed to be a quarterly kind of thing. So we can put it on the next agenda.
Okay.
And I'll follow up now from time to time to see where the conversations are going.
Okay.
All right.
That
No
will be
problem.
good.
Thank you very much. Okay.
You're welcome.
Mr. Senge, are you here or Mr. Fortune? Okay, they are not here. Okay, so now we'll wait for them to come back. This Rise for Teachers. Last year, we provided 100 bags of rice for teachers, current teachers, and past teachers. But, you know, because it was our first thing, there were a lot of discrepancies. We want to be able to address that because there were people who were supposed to get this right, they didn't get it. People who were not supposed to get it, got it. So that kind of discrepancy we want to avoid and make sure that we can do it because we want to be able to remember our teachers and our past teachers. You know, one of the things that Abdul and I always converse, I really like helping people when they are alive. When people die, you know, I didn't grow up in the house where I grew up. You know, when people die, they are dead. My dad really never, you want to cry too much. He said, why are you crying? You know, why are you crying? Their time is done, right? Just use your own time. But when people are alive, we do for them what we are supposed to do. So when they die, we will celebrate their life, right? We don't have to be all sorry and all that because we know it's the end of. Or if you're a believer, you know that it is not the end of your life, really. It's just a transition. Okay. So we want to be able to provide this rights for our teachers to encourage them. You know, we know Auntie Melissa was mentioning how it is difficult for people to go and teach there. And in this generation, things are even harder. So this rights for teachers, we are going to initiate it again. Well, let me don't say it that way. We want to initiate it again for a second time, but this time we will do it correctly. Because now we are able to identify teachers, past teachers, who didn't get the rights. And we can remove those who are not supposed to get the right from the list. So this is something we want to launch again. And we want to target the month of July to provide this right for our teachers. Are we on the same page with this? And you can unmute and you can make a contribution to this. Maybe we can ask first Joseph Musa, our home-based chairman. You know, I know he probably didn't play a major role in the last distribution, but maybe this time we can involve him in playing a major role since he worked in the development sector.
Yes, thank you, Abu. I wasn't actually involved in the last distribution, but I think I will make myself available when it's time for the distribution this time. I'm really sometimes very busy. You know, I'm in between Bones Island, the communities in Bones Island, going as far as the Turtle Island and in Imperi. Even as I talk to you, I'm in Imperi. I would have loved having joined together with the two principals because I provided them this kind of meetings last, but unfortunately I wasn't there today. I'm attending a funeral today here in Imperi, so I'm actually in Imperi. But I think it's a laudable idea. I will avail myself in the next distribution when that time comes. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So on that note, are we ready to undertake another Rise for CSS teachers? Everybody's on mute. Is this a project we need to undertake again for the second time?
Yeah, it's a venture that we need to undertake.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. That's good.
That's good. It's okay.
Do I put my hand up?
Yes. Well, there is a way you can put your hands up really on the screen, but you can see it turn up. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Auntie Mary. Hi,
Yeah. About this rice thing, of course, rice is our staple and it's the thing, the food, the big food ingredients, and the name itself goes a long way to say it's rice support for teachers. But when you look, I don't want to preempt. I'm not presenting. In no way, I'm not pretending to present what Mr. Senge and the other band in the junior secondary school would have said. But obviously, if we look at the results, you know that it is particularly, and you look at the staff list the last time, and you see somebody who did BA General teaching physics or biology and stuff like that. These things are all interrelated about the the end product of what we really want to see vis-a-vis the results. You know, how we can get Centennial back on the forefront of one of the schools, like put it as an A school. What you're talking about, results, or WASC results and Becker results. When I left Jala University College at that time, I did my BA Ed. There was something which the government did run at that time that they called incentive for rural, for people. Sorry, I was talking to my son because the battery is getting low. There was incentive for, we used to call it bush allowance. They call it bush allowance.
Yes.
That is teachers who went to teach in rural settings. As a matter of fact, Jala University was, that was the whole idea of Jala University, so that teachers would go back to those rural areas and teach. Okay, so maybe we are sticking with the right thing, but we should go beyond that. What can we really think of, ways of really enticing good teachers into the schools? Because frankly, when I looked at this, at the staff list, and I looked at their qualifications and things like that, and subjects they were teaching, I said to myself, no wonder results are this way. I'm not squarely putting the blame on staff per se, because this whole thing, for children to do well in school, it's a responsibility of the school, of the parents, of the home, and the child itself. And I don't want to go into that. I may have gone out of the classroom, but I always have passion for teaching. I went to the humanitarian field, but I do know that they are the bedrock, of any nation. But for this purpose, let's really think out of the box and not just focus on rice. What can we do, as CIOSA, in providing that incentive to attract teachers, good teachers, and retain, because it's not getting just going there, the retention as well. Mature is not like mature as it was when Auntie Billy and A.K. Lavadi and others were teaching. Believe me, I can get lost in mature now.
Wow.
It's a big settlement. Yeah, seriously. Because the buildings have, it's almost going to Luawa the last time I went there. Wow. So it's a big settlement now. And of course, things have, with mobile phones and stuff like that, it's a global village. But what do we do to attract good teachers and retain them? That is the challenge. If we don't get to that hurdle, if we can't cross that hurdle, forget about it, about O-level and Becker results for the next 5 or so years again.
Thank you very much, Auntie Marie. In fact, we have been thinking a lot about this. When the pandemic occurred here, and I see my son, taking classes online, we had to set up a whole system. My eldest son, he is even more technologically savvy than me, was setting up our house to be able to do technology, and my son was taking exam. And I realized the Google Foundation has given us the tools. And really, I know that some modems in Sierra Leone can work at Centennial, right? We may not have all the teachers go there, but we can also use technology to be able to deliver, right? I can be here, I can teach art, I can teach history, I can teach literature from the comfort of my base here, right there at Centennial. And I have been talking to the principal. That is why, but we are going to discuss that when we move on to the next level. But your point is right. We are going to have to think outside the box. If we can get people physically at Centennial, we can get them virtually to Centennial to teach. There are most of us out here who will be willing to give our time for free to Centennial. We can record those the teaching and help those students. You know, having been a teacher once, you know, you are always a teacher, right? That can even keep us younger. So instead of us retiring and getting tired, we can retire and continue to be active in giving. So you are right. So we are just starting with this, the rice issue, to see is everything has a starting point, but we are going to have to think outside the box, you know. And the 4 people committee have become the ideas that Goawa was floating was actually a very good idea, and hopefully they will develop it further. But we are going to work on that and make sure things happen. And we need to expedite, we need to accelerate most of this development. You know, we're not going to wait for 100% of people to involve. The few that are committed, you know, are the ones that we are going to work with. And I just, again, like I said, for North America and the UK, I just want to thank the people that have been really involved. Like you said, Peter Campbell, he's been doing a lot in Sierra Leone. It's difficult, right? But we're going to also work with them to help them think outside the box, to realize people don't have to physically meet these days, right? You can still meet virtually. We have been able to raise more money meeting virtually than we were meeting physically, right? So,
let me also quickly add that there's a project. When COVID set in, the schools were closed, and the Ministry of Education introduced learning through the radio.
Yeah.
Okay, and it works very well. And now some NGOs have gone on board to really expand that. I think that I understand they are piloting now. You know, particularly in the rural areas, Centennial may not be there because they'll probably target the government schools. Okay, but even for us as YOSA, okay, using. And others are thinking of using, if there are free TV stations, you know, who give core subjects, you know, and they are using solar panels. Okay, these are all the things that we can think about in terms of technology. And like you say, you don't have to be there physically, but training the teachers themselves, because some people got those degrees 20 years ago, and the same notes that they have is the same notes that they are teaching. And some teachers, that's why some pupils don't even bother. You get hold of the notes, you don't need to go to the classroom. You know, you just memorize and give it to them during exams. You know, but in a challenging world and a fast-changing world, you know, these are some of the things, you know, that is being piloted as I'm sitting here right now. I don't know how the schools were selected, but my guess is that it will be government schools first, and not government assisted. And Centennial falls under government assisted because it's a missionary school.
And again, I come back to the fact that we thank God because the tools, because the same thing, the same platform they use here to teach kids in school. This is the platform that SIOSA has. We have it right here. So all we need to do is just small changes at Centennial. We'll be able to tap into our resources worldwide. You know, we can also actually buy some products from this end. For example, additional mathematics. It's difficult to have teachers for the sciences. This can be delivered virtually and help kids, you know, be able to go through certain processes. So those are things that we are going to continue to work on. We thank God for this moment in history. At least we are alive. We'll be able to initiate it and help teach our teachers also down there how to make use of some of these technologies.
Yeah. Having said that, I beg to be excused. It's getting to iftar.
Okay.
I have to prepare myself to break my fast.
Okay.
I wish I would have stayed to the end of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted something else. I could add something else to add onto the bereavement thing, because I know the way that it's working there, but it's not sustainable. But maybe this is just a start, and we can continue discussions online.
Okay.
It's a pleasure, small boys and small girls. Big sister.
We're not that small.
I
We're
was
not that
baptized. Pastor Parker baptized me in the John River, but I went back
okay.
because I'm a born East Muslim. But thank you. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, Lady Manya. Bye.
Bye.
I know that some people have joined us, and you're going to introduce yourself later on. So we're going to go through this Rise for Teachers project. We are going to launch it again. And again, like I said, our brother Joseph Musa, the Matruhome branch chairman of CIOSA, will be playing a major role in the next distribution. So we are going to work with him actually right now as we prepare to get the complete list as much as possible. So on that note, we'll go to the bereavement matters. And let me just float this idea here. I started introducing it. Let us endeavor to support people while they are alive. The flowers that we send when they are there really will not make a difference to them anymore, right? Or if we send it after we have done something good, right? It is a moment of celebration. So instead of waiting for people to die and then we start to raise money for all other things, let's try to think outside the box and start to come around each other while we are still alive. So that's just what I want to show. People may have other different ideas, but please consider this part of the conversation, because it is so difficult to say, okay, I may have a liking for a particular person, and that person passed away, and because of that, I tend to do more in that regard than I will. But when people are alive and they are going through periods of uncertainty, and we can come through for them, believe me, it makes better sense. So this bereavement issue, I want to float it again on the floor. We may not make a decision on it, but let's just have a conversation about it. Looks like the Secretary General wants to say something on that.
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, we can take that to the conversation on the forum. It can be an issue we can cover. Maybe if we start to converse this way, people will stop sending unnecessary things to the forum. So we'll take the bereavement issue on the forum later on that way, so that we can come up with a plan on that. What do you guys think?
I agree with you, Abu. I think that when people are alive, that's when you should be in touch with them, not when they are dead. Yes.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%.
Thank you.
If people are sick in hospitals and they're not able, we can help. Then wait until they are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're going to take, even though it's not going to be a formal decision on that, but what we are going to do, that's going to be our approach, especially from CIOSA North America, right? We are going to use that as our approach, right? Why people are alive. So when people are going through sickness, please bring that information to us. Actually, it's just said, if you can put it, send it to me. I'll make sure that it has the right wing and the right foot to work, right? When people are going through situations, just share that information so that way we can be there for each other. I think it, as I said, we don't have to publish it, but we can reach out to people individually in the back end, and we can generate resources to try to be of help to those people. So on that note, we go to other business. At least we go to other business, but under this other business, there are people who just came, didn't introduce themselves. So please, if you're just coming, I'm going to start with Goana. Goana, introduce yourself. I think you are on mute. Goana, you are on mute. No, you are on mute. You are still on mute, go on. You are still on mute. Okay. Since you try to figure it out, let me go to Mohammed.
Yes, 670 Mohammed Conte. I was senior prefect of in 1969, 68-69 school year. I was also school soccer captain, and I played table tennis and lawn tennis for the school. And unfortunately, I wanted to teach at the school when I finished college, but circumstances couldn't allow me. But I'm happy to be part of this association going forward.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you very much. Okay, go on now. Now you are on.
Am I on mute now? Okay, my name is Hannah Rajas Kasamba, 1407. And I used to stay with Miss Sagan, she's my aunt. She was my aunt. So I stayed with her.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hey, Madam Vice Chair, Rosetta Talley. Rosetta. Okay. Who else is here? Okay.
Those who came in briefly, according to what I was writing, I don't know if they are still.
Mr. Fugawa,
can you
introduce yourself?
2697 of Fugawa. Major House Captain and Gold Captain.
Okay. And who else? Okay. All right. Well, now other business. We can now go to other business. So the other business, the first thing I want to say is that the Pabeka biography is going to come out. And like I said earlier, it is important that each and every one of us read. Okay, I think Halima Tudin, introduce yourself before I go ahead. Halima Tudin, you are on mute. You are on mute. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. You have to unmute. No, we can't hear you. Just touch the mute button. Just touch the mute button. Okay, now, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, my phone went off. I was offline. Don't know, maybe it was the network. I've been trying since few minutes to 5 to join this line.
Yeah,
I
I
came
saw you.
online but went off. So
yeah, so introduce yourself.
I wanted to. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I make a contribution about the conduct of learners in the school. The time Auntie Manye was speaking. As all of a sudden, my phone went off. But now, since I've got the opportunity, I wanted to know and empower the level of the teachers grade or the teachers conduct. In a whole, we want to know their level because if a teacher wants to give out, he or she has to be motivated educationally. Maybe some of the teachers want to upgrade themselves so that the competition there will be met. Some have HTC, some have PC. We are not looking down upon them, but we still need to ask them their problems. We still need to ask their problems, and you will get it from them that this and this should be done, so that they will be open up and dedicated to their task. For now, that's my short contribution.
Okay, so now introduce yourself. We got it.
Meet yourself.
I can't get you.
You driving?
I can't get you. Come again, please.
Did you get me what I said?
No.
Oh no, I said
I didn't get you.
Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
This is Halima Tulusidin, admission number 2879, the squad mate of my able principal, Mr. Suleiman Senge, born of Loawa Jong Matu, Bond District. Teacher at the Methodist Girls High School, Freetown.
Okay. I did my teaching practice at Methodist Girls High School.
Come again?
I said I did my teaching practice. Final year teaching practice at Methodist Girls High School.
Wow, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Auntie Mary, you have a. You have your hand up.
Sorry, come again.
Sorry, it was a mistake.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, Abraham, go ahead. You're on mute. You're on mute. Okay, but no, you're on mute still. Okay. Now.
Yeah. So I just want to go back to this school performance issue, because for me, it's an existential problem. And therefore we have to deal with it holistically. That is why I suggest that there should be some sort of initial assessment, so that we have a holistic approach to the issue. We cannot address through components and parcels. We have to put it together, try to deal with it in such a way that we address all of the composing parts. What I want to know is when we suggested that somebody should do an assessment, an initial assessment of the problem, have we had a report from the assessments? And if so, what are the actual components of the report that we should focus on? Because I've seen Auntie Marie made some very good suggestions. Even you also, the suggestions that you made were very pertinent. But there are certain things that still need to be taken into consideration, even apart from this. So let us have the report that the assessment has made, and let us look at it, analyze it, and see how other components can be fitted into it, so that the whole issue is addressed in a holistic manner. That is the contribution I want to make, and I want to know the status of that assessment.
Okay, as it stands now, we haven't received an assessment yet. We are expecting the principal and the two principals to be on this conference. But as you said, normally brother Joseph Musa helps them to come online, but he's not there right now. And also, like we have reached out to our brothers, Jonathan Monty William, who was willing to follow up, even though some of those information he was expecting to get them from the principal, but he is here. So what we have to do is to follow up on that on the forum so that we can get some information on that. And it is very important, just like you said, it's an existential issue. So we have to actually pursue it because it has to be part of our holistic approach to the Centennial issue. So we are on the same page on that. We'll follow up on that with the key players that are supposed to provide us this information to determine what our role would be in helping to move beyond it. So, are there other issues here to discuss?
Yes, I want to add something. I wonder whether Mr. Senge, Principal Senge, has made any attempt in trying to find out how to get the fiscal or the VSOs that used to go back today. Because the fiscal program, as I know, has been instituted back again here in US, and I know they are going out. So I think Principal Senge must look into that, especially for the science sector. The science aspect of school work is that our brothers, really the science people, need more money, not being teachers. So they don't want to be a teacher. But if you can check the timeline, you will realize that or recall that most of the science teachers were white people, because they know that's what they signed for, and they signed to become teachers, and they're not going to go out to look for better paid jobs. So if Principal Stenger can go back and find out how to get those people back in school, especially in the science area, that would make a huge difference, because it's not easy to get our brothers to do it, because once they find something that will pay them more, they'll definitely leave, and I don't blame them. So that's my take.
Okay, thank you. I think that with the COVID situation, have the Peace Corps returned to Sierra Leone yet?
No, when it's all over. I'm saying when it's all over. When
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they used to have Peace Corps there, because I'm very familiar with the last recent batch of Peace Corps that were there. So that's good. Okay. Any other business? Any other business? Any other matter?
Yes, Abu. Hello?
Yeah, Joseph.
Yes, I think our focus has been the teachers, but you know, we are in this country, we are in Sierra Leone, and we have seen over the couple of years how the educational level in this country has gone down the drain. I think maybe one of the areas that the assessment we have to look into is the admission of students in that school, right from NPSC and Beckett. Because what we have noticed of late is that because it's a community school, some students do enter into that school without acquiring the right number or the right aggregates. So if a student enters the secondary school without acquiring the right percentage, you know, that's where the problems start. So it's from the academic performance, right from the schools where the students are coming from, and then the conduct of the school. You remember when we have this meeting the last time after our conference, I had to ask Mr. Senge, because what happened last was that we had a lot of students that had wanted to sit to this WAS exam because government is paying for the WAS exam. And many of those students that have left school for the past 2-3 years were eager to come back to sit to their WAS exam. And they were admitted, you know, not even considering what the outcome might be. You know, that's the reason why we have this poor result for the past WAS exam, because many of the students that we admitted were those students that have sat for over 2-3 years. We are eager to come back to the classroom because government was paying for them. So maybe, I don't know, you know, somebody was talking about the assessment. Do we have any assessment checklist? Was that checklist, you know, cross-checked with other members of CIOSA? to look at what actually they are assessing. Are they assessing, for me, the assessment is a broad term. What are they looking at? Because we have been looking at, the last lady talked about, I don't know who was, Hannah talked about, teachers, the level of teachers. Even if we have Jesus Christ come down to teach all the subjects, if we don't have the right candidates to sit to that exam, my brother will continue to have woeful results, because it is the students that are going to sit there. Remember, let us don't forget what our educational pattern has been in this country. Teachers have been writing exam papers for students. And we know the trouble that President Bio went through, even when they disgraced those teachers who were caught, doing things that were not correct as far as examination is concerned. And these have been some of the causes of the failure since the inception of this present government. So can we go back maybe in the assessment? What is the caliber of students that are admitted in this school? What is the percentage right from NPSC? How are they admitted into Beke?
The assessment is money.
Yes, Mr. Oh, sorry. Sorry, you can finish.
Yeah. Joe, let Joe finish.
So it's a whole lot of issues,
Yeah, you can finish.
so yes, that needs to be addressed by the principals themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In fact, I'm glad that Mohammed just raised his hand, because he made an observation that in line with what you are saying. Mohammed, go ahead.
Yes, yes, Mr. Musa. What you're saying is completely right. But that was why, when I suggested that there should be an assessment, I decided that somebody who is an expert in this field, I know Mr. Bounty Williams. I've worked with him at the international level. We once met in Liberia, coincidentally, working for the same organization. When I was field coordinator, he was education coordinator for the same organization. So I worked with him, and I know he has a lot of experience in this. Because when I approached him, I told him we are looking at Centennial's performance, the problems that are associated with the poor performance of the school. There was no specific, I told you, we are not giving you any specific terms of reference. You create your own terms of reference, but all we want is a holistic picture of what is going on there. So this would include teachers' qualification, the environment, all sorts of things. That is why when I asked the chairman whether we have a report, I was expecting that we have that report, and then we would see which components the assessment has outlined as problems. Then we will start to address those problems. We are not taking, we as far as I'm concerned, I know who Jonathan is, and I know how thorough he can be. So he's going to take a holistic approach. He's not going to just concentrate on teacher performance. He's taking the whole spectrum of problems associated with performance. So you can be assured of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's very interesting, because another point that Brother Mohammed had raised, when they said 500 students took the WASC exam, that became like what? 500 students?
Yeah, I mean, how do you even start to imagine that? That is mind-blowing.
Yeah. So the number of failures can increase exponentially, in that kind of scenario. But again, we are going to follow up with our brother Bounty Williams, and I'm going to also connect you, Mr. Musa, with Bounty Williams, so that when he comes down to Matru, he can hook up with you while he's having a conversation with those principals and assessing the compound, But we are going to also rely on you, because you are on the ground, to be furnishing us with some of the information that we also need, to work as a group from this end. So on that note, I don't want us to be labeled. It's now 2:39. This TV was I would like to suggest that we come to an end with this meeting and we go to our closing prayers. And Brother Charles Conte was supposed to do our closing prayer, but he's not here. So I'm going to ask Brother Abdul Kamara to give us the closing prayer.
Before we go, before we go, you hearing me?
Yes.
This infrastructure thing that we talked about. What are we going to do from this point?
So from this point, we are going to take it online on our WhatsApp, because one of the ideas that Auntie Marie floated, we are going to say one representative from each CIOSA branch, a representative from the UBC mission, and then we form the committee on those representatives. So we are going to look at, like for example, you are an engineer. So we are not going to look far for an engineer. We're going to tap into your expertise. And you have also, luckily, you have also been at Untitled. So we may have to tap your expertise to represent us from this end, right? Mohammed is here. So, we have good representation from this guy. UK can provide their own representation. I am more of the artistic background. I love the artistic of the compound, right? I may not want to be on the committee, but I may be able to bring out suggestions on how we can maintain the architectural beauty and how we'll continue to enhance the beauty of the compound. I'm interested in those areas, but I won't want to be per se on the committee. I would just like to contribute, to the committee. So we are going to take it offline, and I'm going to work with Brother Abdul to spearhead that, so we can come out with a one-page suggestion as how to move it on after contacting the head of the Sierra Leone Conference of the UBC mission.
Okay.
All right. So, Brother Abdul, can you please give us the closing prayer? Brother Abdul, give us the closing prayer.
I don't know if he's there.
Maybe he's not there.
Let me see. Okay, brother. Okay, Antiana, give us the closing prayer.
Okay. And so, Father, we just want to thank you for this opportunity that we are able to gather on this here. I pray for wisdom. We pray for knowledge and understanding. We pray for every person on this line, Father God, that you'll be able to provide for them their needs. Father God, we pray that you cover them as they go out there, Father God. We pray for this school, Father God. This school, whatever we are today, Father, is Centennial. Some people are there, they are still sitting on the fence. So we need to come on this line and do something for that school. So I pray that God will bless each and every one of us to do what we can to improve Centennial. We pray for the founders of this school, Father God, wherever they are, Father God, that you bless them and bless their children, Father God. We just want to thank you. We pray for grace. We pray for your protection as we go out there, Father God. We thank you that some of us are still alive after all this COVID, after we have lost so many people. We are not better than them. It's just because of your grace and favor. And so, Father God, we just want to thank this opportunity and thank each and everyone on this land. We pray you continue to be with us. As we leave this land, we are not departing from your presence. We pray, Father God, we come again together and dwell in unity to glorify Centennial. In Jesus' name, we have prayed, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
All
Amen.
right.
Thanks, everybody. And have a blessed weekend.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
What about the annual dues? We didn't discuss about the annual dues.
What people know it's due now, so people can contribute to,
School of the proud, whose praises sing aloud. Open face, Johnny, I want to see you. Heights, open outside, Centennial, the school of the whose praises sing aloud. Open of victory we have won. Exams to all. And free and take the school of instruction.
Yes. Oh, we're not uniform. Anyone just like we're not uniform?
Thank you very much, everyone. And I hope you have a great day. And God bless you. And see you again next time.
Hello.
Okay. Just go.
Hello.
Suzanne, I hope you feel better and your hand gets better. I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Abu, record now, finale.